Did you get your hands on some Whoppers lately?
My current favorite is Twix.
Twix?
Yeah.
There's two of those. You
Well,
eat both of them?
I usually don't get like the Twix like that. I get like the big bag of like the fun size.
Oh, you get the grocery store sack?
Yeah, and then like however many I want is the right amount.
Yeah.
There's no left or right Twix. There's only Twix.
Right, yes.
There's only Zool.
What about Take 5? I had one of those lately. That and Snickers are like the American candy bars where like, let's take chocolate and nougat and peanuts. And they just keep piling shit on it.
Like Baby Ruth is like that. I remember liking Baby Ruth a lot, but I had one recently and it wasn't what I remembered. I was digging the Milky Way because I think the Snickers, like the peanuts, distract from the nougat and the caramel.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking like Milky Way, it's the Snickers without the peanuts.
Exactly.
And I liked that for a while, but then it needed something different. It was like missing the cookie, which is why I'm on the Twix right now.
Yeah, I like it when they can keep them simple like that. Imagine like the recipe for like a Take 5 is like a 25-step process. It's like slightly easier to get to the moon than make this candy bar.
But like the Three Musketeers, like wrap nougat in chocolate.
Yeah,
like that's it.
We're done. This is HIMYM Superfans, folks. Hi there, Chris Venezia.
Hello, James Hamilton.
This is the show where we talk about the CBS comedy How I Met Your Mother.
And as always, our goal is to ruin the show for you.
Yeah, that's your spoiler alert. We're going to spoil plot points for the entire series.
Yeah, whether you're joining us for the first time or you've been a fan of us all along, Season 1 is still available if you'd like to go back and listen to something.
On this episode, we're talking about The Scorpion and the Toad, the second episode of Season 2, a.k.a. Because It's in My Nature. Originally aired September 25th, 2006, written by Carter Bays, Craig Thomas, and Chris Harris, because this was real hard, guys. I need a lot of help.
Yeah, right. It's like 3 writers.
Yeah.
3 writers credits on this one?
Well, they have like 23 guest stars, so...
Well, that's true, yeah. That did make the writing more difficult. The next part is more confusing than the 3 writers.
Yeah, directed by Rob Greenberg.
Shenanigans. Pam Fryman is not the director this week, but she did check out Cobie Smulders' ass after a breakup.
Yeah, I'm sure that had nothing to do with her 1-week vacation.
Right, unpaid vacation.
Yeah.
So you mentioned a whole bunch of guest stars.
We'll mention them as they come up, but just a couple that were interesting to me was Dan, the neurosurgeon, played by an actor named Sandeep. Coincidentally, there is a character named Sandeep in the first season.
Right.
The Cockamouse.
Yeah, Cockamouse. He's the one that's supposed to analyze the Cockamouse. So yeah, there's quite a few. I did like Richard Wharton as the art professor. Not necessarily because of his performance, but because of the line that was written for him.
Right.
It's like the lines with literally the exact same words, but when spoken with different inflection and pausing is the exact opposite.
Exactly, yeah, I really like that too. In this one, Lily's back in New York. Ted and Robin try to determine if Lily is happy or not. Meanwhile, Barney teaches Marshal how to live. But he intercepts all of Marshal's dates and sleeps with every single last one of them. Well, except for twin number 2.
Right, yes, twin number 2.
She got away.
She said yes, didn't get chlamydia.
Yeah.
But this episode, as Mother Fan Dan would say, is the one where Lily gets her comeuppance.
Ah. So Lily comes back unemployed in this episode and is uncertain of what kind of job to look for. In the episode Aldrin Justice, which is coming up soon, we get to see all the different careers she's considering.
Yeah, we get to see them all back to back in rapid succession. And then she, at one point, is working at the Luau themed
restaurant.
And then they all go to visit and then make fun of her while she's there. Even Robin, who it's like, no, I want to be supportive of my friends. Like, but it's my birthday. Yeah. Somebody needs their free ice cream.
Yep.
So what was most memorable for you?
I loved Marshall trying to pick up women, especially when he was at that college bar and he's just pathologically incapable of asking for her number.
Yeah, like she's even trying to give it to him. Like she's saying, I have a number. He's like, good.
Nice.
Like way to go.
Very cool.
Like earlier in the episode at that point, there was like Ted has the pen. He's like, way to go.
Yeah.
He's like, he's just saying words out loud because something needs to be said.
Right.
And then, so she says she has a phone number, and he's almost like, good for you.
Yeah.
Like, that's nice.
Yes.
You have a cell phone. You probably pay that bill.
Yeah.
You're a responsible adult. Congratulations.
Yeah.
But Barney, gets her number for Marshall, at least for a while.
And then also in that college bar is Barney striking out with all the women, which I really liked because it shows that all these women that Barney is sleeping with, well, it just shows them as dumb, and these college women are too smart.
Except for the one, twin number one. But, actually, I didn't notice that the first time, and I do like that, where Barney's only able to hook up with him when he has some sort of lead-in. Like, he's got, like, the bumbling doofus Marshal that when Barney sweeps in, he looks really good. Like, he's a guy in a suit, and he does magic, he says all the right things, but he's got that lead-in that he didn't get when he was doing the blind approach. Right. Which is like, oh, hey, your major must be chemistry because of the vibe that I'm getting. And then, like, the other one that he tries to, like, just like call her friend a lesbian to try and figure out, like, he's, like, just grabbing at straws. But no, I like that. Like, Barney's not doing well except for when he's feeding off of Marshall, like some sort of parasite.
Yeah.
Maybe like a scorpion to another man's toe.
Wow, that's like some sort of metaphor.
Yes.
So what do you remember about this one?
I like Lily pretending to be the twins. For some reason, the near the end of the episode stuff seems to be more memorable to me than other things. But I did like that the Lily pretending to be the twins to throw 2 drinks in Barney's face to make sure that he doesn't go home with the twins after Barney paid for her flight home. The first time she sees him back in New York, she throws 2 drinks in his face as a play that Marshall set up, and then Barney's not even a little mad at Lily. And he's impressed with Marshall. He's not like upset at all. It feels like that's what should have happened. Right, yeah. Well done, Erickson.
Yeah. He knows what exactly happened.
I also like where it's another episode where they fast forward at the bar to cover them having discussed a topic for a while. Right. Like the fast forward. In this episode, they flash forward an hour to cover all the best candies to describe women or women's desirable parts.
Oh, jujubes.
That's probably one of the only ones that they skipped over. Yeah. Because when I was watching that, as much as I like that, those scenes where they do the round table and then they flash forward, I felt like they didn't have enough information, and that's why they did the flash forward. Yeah. I can't really think of many. I mean, you just start naming round candies, and that's just lame. Well, in the Milky Way, it's like, well, because of milk. Okay. I mean, that's the thing. You're going to be grabbing at straws. I think is my point. Hey folks, thanks for subscribing to the podcast. It's been a lot of fun making this show for all of you, but it has also been and continues to be a lot of work. Many of you have said nice things and shared with us on Facebook and Twitter. And we want to thank you for listening. As we continue our podcast for the Scorpion and the Toad, we hope you take this opportunity to just touch that share button on your app or your computer. Those shares are how we know if our hard work is paying off. Yeah, this show can be emotionally challenging sometimes, and it feels nice when we get a lot of shares. Yeah, it feels really good, like getting your hands on a pair of double bubbles or milk duds. Or boobs. So the first segment of the episode is not very long. Before we get to the title sequence and then the first commercial break, there's a few things. Barney wants to teach Marshall how to live. Barney says that Ted had his chance and that he's out, and I like that Ted is really pleased with the news. He's been trying to get Barney to stop teaching him how to live for a long time. Right, yeah. And Barney's advice is make a mystery of yourself. It kind of reminds me of later he has this other line of create a mystery or distraction. I have a spaceship. What kind of fuel powers your spaceship? Do you remember that one? I do, yes. I don't remember too much else about it, but he needs to be able to have an answer to any question. Or even if he doesn't have it, he needs to be able to come up with an answer to any question. If he has a lie, if he's trying to play a part, and somebody asks him, like, what kind of fuel does a spaceship take? He has to be able to come up with an answer, whereas Marshall wasn't able to come up with any answer to any question at all about his secret identity.
Right.
Lily comes back, like she's not just hiding in the background at McLaren's, creeping on the gang.
Right.
So she comes back. She's got like a peace sign necklace and is dressed like what I assume the audience might suspect a San Franciscan would wear.
Yeah, in this first episode, she wears like 3 dresses, very distinctly different dresses, and they're all revealing a lot more, I think, than she did in her wardrobe in season 1.
Yeah,
and also, like you mentioned later, that she's tan. She's very tan.
Yes.
Almost orange.
Yes, she is. I guess it's that California sun.
Yeah.
I also thought it was interesting that the first thing that Lily says to anyone in the gang after she comes back to New York is that it's a nice ass.
Yeah.
Robin has a nice ass.
It is a nice ass. I liked Marshall's look, too. Like, you could see in his face is like, nice.
Yeah. He does the nod and almost, but doesn't need to move his mouth.
Right.
You can tell what he's thinking.
Right.
So that first part's real short. Let's get into Act 2. This one, it's pretty long. Actually, my favorite is Marshall at the Scorpion and the Toad. Like you were talking about not picking up any of the signals from the blonde pre-law student, twin number 1,
right?
As we've been calling her. Like, she's like, it would be great to see you again. Maybe I'll see you here sometime. I do have a phone number. Like, she can't make it more obvious at that point.
Yeah. I was more focused on Ted and Robin, what they were going on. And, like, the way Ted was talking to Robin about Lily, it just seemed really cold. Like, even the whole comments about she crawled through broken glass to...
The broken glass of their shattered relationship that is her shame and regret. Something like that, yeah. Yeah, and I actually didn't think that was over the top. That's Ted... like being able to express himself for what he's been thinking for 3 months. And he's actually very nice to Lily when he sees her, and he probably should have ripped into her then, but I think Robin didn't want him to. You can even see her like rubbing his back and like stroking his arm and stuff, like being supportive and being like calming, like being a calming presence. Because Ted wants to blow up at Lily and then does later on in the season when he calls her a Grinch. But he's mentioned before that he's not good at confrontation and he usually pushes it deep down.
Right, yeah.
And so that's easier for him to do anyways, to not confront her. But he does say it behind her back to Robin.
Yeah, he wants her to be miserable. And Robin, speaking like Robin being the supportive girlfriend, like she knows how upset he is because he's flaunching around and stomping his feet. And he's just like being pouty, almost like a baby, like a child. And
she knows before she even tells him, because he's like, well, how's she doing? She's like, you're not going to like it. Oh, she already knows how he feels, and she's prepared for whatever he's going to do. I do like after he talks about how she should be devastated. She's like, you never pick sides. That's respectable.
Yeah, good for you.
I also like Ted in this act. He's got the penny.
Right.
He's got the penny on the subway that's old, and that is interesting. Yeah. And then Marshall's supportive, way to go.
Yeah, it's our first mention of Ted liking pennies.
Right. Yeah, that actually comes up, at least one other time that I can think of, and then he names his daughter Penny.
Speaking of lines that we repeat a lot, first of all, that is interesting.
Yes.
I love saying that.
You also when Barney and Marshall are at the diner. Is it the same diner that Lily and Ted and Robin go to the next day?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I only wanted to build one set.
Right.
But when Marshall's at the diner, it looks like he's kind of studying, studying law. It better be awesome.
Yeah.
And then Barney's talking how well it went with the woman that that Marshall was talking to. He does the hypothetical high five because hypothetically Marshall scored.
Yes.
Not literally.
No.
Hypothetically, and then they hypothetically do the high five, which is funny. Actually, I'm pretty sure Marshall didn't. Marshall left him hanging.
Oh, right, yes.
But in Barney's mind, he hypothetically got the high five, and I thought that was fun.
Yeah, that was nice.
And I'm wondering, Barney in this episode, like, is he using Marshal to get these women, like we talked about, like leeching off of him? Or is he trying to protect Marshal and his future relationship with Lily? Because Barney already knows that Lily is back or on her way back, and that their future relationship might be, I don't know, challenged in some way if Marshal's sleeping around. That Lily, might come back and be hurt by that. And so he's like doing him a favor while also doing himself a favor.
Following on a sword by having these women fall on his sword.
Yeah, and so, okay, that's what you think, that it's both.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, if he had slept with someone else while they were broken up, that would have just been unforgivable. It's not like they were on a break.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, I don't know, for some reason this show wasn't comfortable. This show gets like dark in a lot of ways. Like on occasion it gets, like intense and emotional and things like that. But maybe they just didn't want to do it because Friends did it first, but they didn't want to do like the On the Break, which is like the most serious like moment of Friends where like people are actually hurt and you can sort of feel that, and if you've ever been through anything like that, then you can relate to it, and if you can't relate to it, you can at least understand it, and then you're gonna pick a side. Like either they were on a break or they weren't. Not a whole lot of gray area there. Usually somebody picks one or the other, and this show didn't do that. Like the Marshal and Lily relationship is pure, even with the breakup.
Right. Yes, they've only had sex with each other.
Right. Right. When you say it like that,
they've only had sex with each other. Is this the first time we get to see Barney do magic on screen? I mean, he did it at the career fair, didn't he?
He did, and he also did some on the roof, like during Slay Pumpkin. Yes. But this is the only time where we get to see like the words written on a hand bit. And we also I like to see how it happened. Like when it works, it's amazing. But then they show his secret. Like he writes something down that he thinks is going to be said on his hand. It's not magic.
You just try it a lot.
It's just, you're right. It's misdirection and numbers. It's a numbers game.
Yeah. Oh, also, one more thing I will mention for the astute listener of our podcast: listen very closely to the music when they're at the Scorpion and the Toad bar. That sounds an awful lot like our podcast theme song. So we got it from the same free clip library.
Right. But, definitely check that out. So the next act, what is your favorite scene?
Oh, it's the diner scene this time with the other three characters, and they're all hungover. Mm-hmm. And this is where we get to learn everybody's hangover cure.
Right.
Lily's is that greasy tuna melt, which is not on my list, not on yours either. You and Ted like gravy. Yeah, it's true. I do. Actually, I can relate to 2 out of the 3 of them in that scene. Like Lily wanting the greasiest, dirtiest tuna melt, which is fish, and a milkshake, which is dairy, on top of a stomach that is still churning a quagmire of tequila and regret. I think is probably not where I want to start adding fish and dairy. But yeah, the gravy, absolutely. Hell yeah. Yeah, it's like, we actually have a diner downtown here that's famous for their gravy, or at least locally famous, and it is much tastier after a night at the bars. Robin is still drunk the next day, and that's got to be one of the weirdest experiences, like waking up and like going about your day, and then like half an hour into it realizing, holy crap, like I'm still drunk from last night. Like that cannot be good. No. But what do? Like go back to bed? You're not tired. Yeah. You drink way too much. Yeah. And you haven't come down yet. Yeah, that's exactly what's happening is you drank so much that even though you slept for 4, maybe 6 hours, right? Your body can only metabolize it so fast, right? So it's still there, just floating around. So I can relate to the 2 of them. I do also like in that scene, like at the end, like Ted like kind of tells Lily off, like, no, you can only ask Marshal to get back together if you're absolutely sure. Because I can't go through another 3 months of this. Robin's got this expression, like she's like proud of Ted. She's like, oh, my boyfriend, he like lays down the law, and then she's like, this guy likes pennies. And it just thought it was funny. Yes. Yeah, I like that. She was real cute in that scene.
She also says that she'd have the waiter with gravy if her boyfriend wasn't there.
Yeah.
I don't recall her using that term before, for Ted. Like, this is the second episode into this season.
Right, yeah.
Like definitely boyfriend, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So it's very serious.
Yeah. This whole season is interesting because they are sort of forced to reanalyze how they're going to stage the characters, because they can't have Lily and Marshall in the same scene, or at least not right away, or not as often. And they have to have Ted and Robin together, or have an explanation for why they're not together.
Right.
So it changes the way they write the scenes.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's completely different.
Mm-hmm.
So I like in this act that Barney takes Marshall's candy again.
Yes.
He does another magic trick where he appears to be throwing something that looks like the twin number one's card out the window when the real card was up his sleeve. But I do want our listeners to keep in mind that the card with twin number one's phone number on it, Barney gave her that card.
Right.
So he had others that look identical, so the sleight of hand is really easy for him to pull off. Like, I'll just throw a blank card out the window, Marshall, sees that, he runs out of the cab, and then Barney just goes home.
Yeah.
Again, this is the third time that Barney takes Marshall's candy.
Yeah. So the important scene in this part is at the diner. Lily spills her guts. She didn't have a good time in San Francisco. This is where we get that wonderful performance by the art teacher who earlier said, "This is your best work," and it was very positive. And now it's the exact same lines, just a little bit of change in his tone of voice and pauses. And it's a completely devastating speech to her.
Right. Yes. I've never seen anything so needless.
Yes.
To say this is art.
I can't teach you anything.
Right. Yeah, and Lily comes back from that experience, and she lies to Ted and Robin for a little bit, but she doesn't keep that up. She says she's embarrassed, and so that's why she lied, but she doesn't keep the charade going very long before she tells them the truth.
Yeah, she's terrible at keeping secrets, even her own.
Right, yeah, that is true. We do get at the end of this act that Marshall sees Lily again for the first time in 3 months.
Yeah.
Lily asks for Marshall to take her back, and quickly, I might add.
Oh, yeah.
Ted told her, and this is where I feel like this is the episode where Lily gets her comeuppance for having left. Ted told her that Marshall would take her back.
Oh,
Said, absolutely. And Marshall says no.
Yeah.
And that, audience, is Lily's punishment in my mind. That's what she gets for leaving Marshall and for leaving us as the faithful viewers. And that's her comeuppance. We're being asked, I guess by the writers at this point, to forgive her and move on. She's a part of the gang again. She made some mistakes. They're not together, but we're supposed to let it go.
Yeah. So a couple more important things at the end of this episode that stood out to me, Chris, is Marshall's statement to Barney that I'm better at being a boyfriend than I am dating. Sounds an awful lot like something season 1 Ted would have said.
Yes, it does sound like something almost exactly like what he said. I like that conversation for Barney's part of it, where he says, it's like, being single is not like being a kid in a candy store. I lied. It's nothing like that at all. It's a horrible post-apocalyptic wasteland where it's all, every hombre for himself.
Yeah.
And I like the use of hombre there because it reminds me of when Barney heard Greg say that. Peace out, hombre. It's like the kind of idea that Barney's almost going into a Greg kind of moment. If you want to steal somebody's, longtime girlfriend, that's just the kind of world we live in. If I steal the woman that you were talking to all night, you should have done better.
Yeah.
Do better, hombre. Peace out.
Yeah, whenever he's being cruel to Marshall or he's thinking of dating or explaining dating in a combative way, he channels Greg, and in the same way that Darth Vader and Palpatine are mentor and mentee.
Yeah. I will teach you to hate.
Yes.
And that's where Barney got his transformation into who he is at this point is Greg taught him.
Yeah.
This is the world that we live in. Okay. If you don't like it, then don't do it. Yeah. Don't participate.
Yeah.
It's scary out there, and it's every man for himself.
I've been playing a lot of Fallout lately. So when he said post-apocalyptic wasteland, I thought, yeah, and sometimes those giant rad scorpions aren't just the other dudes. They're the women, too. Yeah.
And sometimes, at the end of the night, all that's left are super mutants.
Yo. This is Barney trying to go for the belt before there was the belt.
I actually have a question about that. Like, the belt with twins, like, would one get bonus points if they're twins? Or are some twins into that, making it easier to achieve, so it's, like, less of an achievement? Like you got the belt, but yeah, I mean, it was twins. Twins are into that. Or are they? I mean, I don't know. I mean, certainly not all of them. Yeah, categorically decide that they're all like that. But
didn't they do that once with, like, it doesn't count because she's French? Wasn't that an excuse once?
Yes. Well, because when he was old.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, it doesn't count. Yeah, apparently, categorically, French women like old men is what How I Met Your Mother is saying, not James or I. Yeah. I do like that Barney kept throwing the line in there, like, menager.
Menager, yeah.
And just like that's one of his... I'm guessing one of his rules that never becomes a rule that he speaks out loud. Like, when trying to go for a three-way, subtly put things into the conversation that imply the number 3, or that we're a trio, or a menager. Yeah. I became an assistant menager, trois. I don't know how you throw that in there without just being obvious, but Marshal ruins it. This is where, like, he gets Lily to go in there, and you gave my twin sister chlamydia. After she puts on a hat. Right. That makes her a different person.
She's a different person, yeah. I'd say not only extra points, Chris, but not just a belt, but also baldric.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, it's like a belt.
So we get to hear about some of Lily's past. Not a whole lot, but apparently in 1998 she got Cinco de Mayo drunk.
Yeah, and caused some kind of mess.
That Ted had to clean up. Yeah. I guess she was physically incapable of it, which is always the worst.
Yeah.
You have to clean up somebody else's mess because they literally cannot do it, and you are the responsible one and get punished for it. Exactly. I feel like everyone's been there. Yes. Probably on both sides of it. So.
Like you just draw the short straw just by being the last one conscious.
Right. It's like, and I'm not going to wait till tomorrow to clean this up because it's going to be worse.
It's like I could go to sleep or keep people from burning the house down and choking on their own vomit.
That is important.
Also, we learned that Lily's SF trip was not what she had hoped, and she states that California pizza is terrible, which I confirmed. It's the worst crap on earth.
Not going to try California pizza, and I wouldn't want to. And actually, I like broccoli, but there's a movie, Inside Out, where the family moves to San Francisco, and the kid is disgusted by the pizza options there, and I think like every pizza has broccoli on it, which is funny because like to me, like if it was a really really cooked broccoli, I would actually like that.
Oh sure,
it's one of the vegetables that I like that isn't a pizza topping.
Yeah.
For a kid, that sort of thing, like that would seem disgusting. And I think it was more to emphasize a theme that California pizza is gross.
Yes.
And that's something that the kids watching the movie are going to get. And apparently Lily got and you got when you lived in California.
Yeah, so challenge thrown down, California. Make pizza that doesn't suck.
Well, and Lily, I mean, she grew up in New York, so she's used to New York pizza, which arguably is not what we're used to around here. As far as like the regional pizza here is going to be like the super thick, deep dish Chicago pizza. New York pizza is the exact opposite of that. Yeah. But at least it does.
At least they have, Chicago and New York has meat, and then California, it's like, here's your slice of pizza with a whole grain bread with 3 cups of sauce on one slice, and then 4 cups of spinach right on top.
Cooked in the oven or placed on top of the pizza afterwards?
There's a lot of raw vegetables on the California pizza.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Best moment of the show for you, Chris?
I like Barney's magic. Yeah. The shooting the sparks and catching them. Like the first time he did it, like I remember seeing them, I was like, okay, that's awesome. But like we talked about, he gets that right probably once out of every 25 times. Or I throw this out there that like if he gets the first one, like, do you like magic? I guess. Going to be a typical answer. So he gets the first one. And if she doesn't say, oh my God, you don't fire off the second one. Exactly. So you don't show a failure.
Sure.
But you just get the one and then you move on with the conversation. But getting 2 in a row is more amazing, and that's when you get to go home with the person.
I'd play those odds. Probably better than the lottery.
Oh, yeah, way better
than Powerball.
Yeah, Powerball. I can't seem to win that.
No. Well, I like that they have a lot of these new sets, and I think it's because they have to separate these characters, so I thought it was pretty clever. I like that.
I thought it was funny that they used an extra set to separate the characters by a day.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, geographically, it's the same place. The diner looks like any other diner that they might reuse the set. I don't know if they kept it or not. But that's another interesting thing, though, that like the show's been going on long enough that they probably have a bigger budget and they can do a bit more with the sets.
Yeah. Anything you didn't really like about this episode?
I specifically have a problem with Lily apartment hunting. Like, she's looking at this really nice apartment. I want that apartment. It looks nice. But she takes the crappy one because the nice one isn't available. So, like, look for another nice apartment, Lily? What happened?
Yes. That apartment, which we get to see for a couple more episodes, is so gross. Like, even out in the hallways, like, they painted the hallways, like, lime green just to show you this is a disgusting building throughout.
I didn't even notice that, but yeah, I got that. But actually, I got the idea that it was like really narrow.
Yeah.
In there, because like the apartment when Lily and Robin are looking at the one, the really nice one, everything's open and spacious. Like when Ted shows up to look at the second apartment with them, it's really enclosed.
Yeah.
Like it looks like they barely fit in the hallway. I didn't notice the color scheme, but it's also darker. I think.
Yeah.
You know, it just doesn't look well. It looks like a scary place, and the apartment is scary, and the bed, you know, it lives in the wall.
Yeah. So, you want to jump to music?
Yeah, I noticed a song. I don't know what it is, but I noticed a song like right before the last commercial break when Lily and Marshall are talking and they're like sort of catching up. Marshall's rejected her. She's accepted that, and then they're having like a conversation before they cut to commercial. There's a song playing, and it seems nice, and it sort of gave me the impression that they were going to get back together. Like even if I hadn't seen the rest of the season or the series, it's got that sort of vibe.
Yeah, that was a nice scene because they had to have this conversation where they air everything out. You broke my heart, Lily. Can we please get back together? I'm miserable. No, we can't. And then we get to see what happens immediately after that. And it's this nice moment where they're back to talking kind of like they're friends.
Yeah, that's nice.
And you can kind of tell that they're forcing it. But at the same time, you know, that music comes in and there's a sense of hope.
Yeah, renewed hope for the two of them. So, whose episode was this?
Well, this is definitely like a Lily and Marshall episode.
Which is funny.
Because they're barely on screen. It's Lily's episode and Marshall's episode.
Right. I thought the Barney and Marshall stuff was more funny. If I had to pick, like, Lily or Barney and Marshall, I'd say it was a Barney and Marshall episode because it was more funny. But I would agree with you. I think it's more accurately, it's a Lily/Marshall episode.
Right. You know what I found the most funny part of the whole Marshall-Barney story was at the end when Marshall plays that prank on Barney to get back at him, where he has Lily come in.
Mm-hmm.
The girls, neither one of the girls get up when the first woman throws a drink in her face and says she got me chlamydia.
Yep.
Chlamydia once is fine.
Right.
But chlamydia twice.
Well, and you know that the twin number one is going immediately, the next day, is going immediately to the clinic to go get tested.
Yeah. Make
sure she doesn't have chlamydia. And she should. She slept with Barney.
Yeah.
Just be safe. Be safe out there, people.
Yeah, it's a lawless post-apocalyptic wasteland.
Right. So,
some people have diseases in their penis.
Protect yourself. That should actually be my life lesson, because actually I wrote something about an apology. We want you to get... Lily doesn't apologize.
No.
She asks to make amends. She's like, is there anything I can do to make up for my wrongdoing? But she doesn't actually apologize. And I wrote some life lesson about an apology, even if it's not enough. But no, go get tested. Yeah. Be safe out there, people.
Wrap it up.
Yeah, exactly. Don't be a fool.
Yeah.
Wrap your tool.
Well, that's all we had to say about this one, folks. What do you have to say?
If you're on Facebook, leave us a note in our Facebook group. The address is facebook.com/group/thescorpionandthetoad-ny.com.
No, actually, Chris, I'm sorry. I changed it. It's now facebook.com/groups/HIMYM superfans.
Oh, well, then how do people tweet at us?
Well, that would be at HIMYM_James.
Okay. All right, well, if you like the podcast, all we ask is that you like, comment, subscribe, share, upvote, retweet, and give us a scorpion or a couple of toads at Show Your Appreciation by sendinganimals.com.
Yeah, we get paid in likes, shares, and Scorpo toads. Which is still a lot better than when I had that job at the Battery Tasting Center and I got paid and used 9 volts.
That sounds disgusting. So please give us those shares and likes so that we don't have to go back to the battery tasting factory, and we'll be back next week with brunch.
And check out the Facebook group all week for new stuff.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
First of all, that is interesting.